Hello my dears, and welcome back to my corner of the internet. I'm Shannon. This back there, that's Bernard. He's my October co-host. We just had a 45-second disagreement before I hit record there about how he wants to fall on the floor, but I insist he stays put. So let's hope he stays put. Anyway, today I've got another book talk video to share with you guys. This video is probably going to be on the shorter side because the book's on the shorter side. But also, there's so much that happens in this book that I can't tell you about on YouTube. So, we'll see where it takes us. As always with the book talk videos, I give the sort of brief synopsis at first. Then we move on over to spoilers. But I will let you know before that happens so you don't accidentally hear something you didn't want to. So, The Haar by David Sodergren? I hope that's how you pronounce that. Anyway, this book is about an 84-year-old woman named Muriel. Now, I know this book came out a couple years ago, but this year I have read so many books that had elderly people as the protagonist, and I've really been loving it. A couple months ago, I read the Massacre at the Autumn Springs Retirement Home, and I loved that. And again, it was older characters. And recently, I think last year, I read one by Serafina Nova Jones that the title is escaping me at the moment, but it also had a bunch of elderly people as the protagonists. And I love it. So we have Muriel. 12 years ago, her husband died. He was a fisherman. They lived and she still lives in a small fishing village in Scotland. And he was a fisherman. And one day he went out on his boat and he never returned. And, they looked for as long as they could, but they couldn't find his body. So Muriel has, she's kept going one foot in front of the other. She's got a grown son who lives far away and a grandson who lives in London. And as the years have gone by, the town has really dwindled in numbers. And now this big shot American billionaire named Grant has decided that he wants to buy this town and all the houses and everything in it and level it and make a golf course. Sound like anybody we might have heard of before? Anyway, some of the people accept the money. He's offering I think $300,000 or something like that for their little cottages. Some of the younger residents accept it, and Muriel doesn't hold any ill will towards them, She gets there young and they can go restart their lives, but she's not doing that, okay? She's not doing it. And she puts her foot down and she's like, I'm not selling and I'm not leaving. So eventually it's kind of down to her and her neighbor and dear friend Arthur. So that's that side of things. Then on the other side of things, she finds this sea creature one day. First of all, the Haar, that word, I thought, look at this cover. But second of all, I thought the Haar was this creature's name, but it's actually the word for a thick fog. And so one night this thick fog comes and it rolls in, and with it comes this creature from the sea. And she finds him and she takes, pity. She feels terrible. This little creature appears to be suffering, so she goes and gets her wheelbarrow and she wheels him home and puts him in the tub. And from there, some very strange things start happening. And that's all I'll tell you before we get into the spoilers. I thought this was, first of all, it's gruesome. It's gruesome. The deaths are very much body horror, but they happen to bad people, if that's, something that makes it different for you, because it does for me. In general, I'm not a huge fan of body horror, but I loved it in this. And what else? The writing was great. The things that happen in the book, it escalates in ridiculousness, but if you can just go in and have fun with it, just go in and have fun with it. I thought this was the perfect book for Halloween week. and would definitely recommend. But like I said, it's gruesome. But on the other hand, you fall in love with Muriel, and it really pulls at your heartstrings. She's grieving for this husband that she loved so much. And now these greedy billionaires want to take away the home that she shared with him. And you're like, oh, hell no, Muriel. Do not let that happen. So yeah. If you don't want any spoilers, now's the time to click away. Okay, now that they're gone, let's get into it. Like I said, the deaths are gruesome. I can't tell you about them here, but they're gruesome because what happens is this creature in the tub, it's got an eye. At this point, it's just a blob with an eye. And when he's in the tub, when she first brings him home, he like wraps some of his blob around her finger, and all of a sudden, all the aches and pains in her body disappear, and she feels younger than she has in decades. And she's like, what the heck? And she can hear his voice in her head. And he's hungry. And she's trying to figure out what does he want, until she realizes it's her blood. She wants her blood. And she gives some to him, and it makes him stronger and more formed as opposed to a blob. The terrible thing that happens, first of all, is Arthur, her elderly gentleman friend next door, who she's been friends with for decades. The company who wants the land is getting more aggressive about it. And they send a couple of goons to burn his house down with him inside of it. And they do. They do. She's distraught, and, you know, now she's grieving that too. So as time goes by, they come for her. Two men come in and they're like, time's up, Muriel. And she suddenly realizes they're going to make it look like she killed herself. She's like, oh my God. And, well, wait. First, the night before, one of the men from the Arthur job ended up in her house because he was wounded, and the blob eats him. All the way up. Disintegrates him. So he does the same to these two men. And once he does, he's so strong, he begins to take on the appearance of her husband, her late husband. And she's like, how's this possible? What are you doing? And he's like, I can, we're bonded, and I can see your memories. I can see what he looked like. But not only that, what you guys did together, what he was like as a person. And so he's giving this gift to her as a thank you for saving him by letting her spend this time with her husband. But it doesn't last long because he needs more to eat. Now, luckily for all of them, there are a lot of bad people currently in this town. There's construction crews getting ready to tear all the houses down. You know, there's just the cops that are all paid off by this billionaire. And so he makes his way through a lot of these people. But eventually, we reach the end of the road. Grant, the billionaire, he's shown up himself with his son in tow. She wakes up one morning. They've got her surrounded. Some of them come in. The blob, who, you know, she kind of refers to as Billy, which was her husband's name. He's like, here we go. And she's like, no, you can't kill everybody here because they're not all bad people. And he's like, no, I can. And she's like, well, yeah, sure, technically you can, but like, I can't let you do that. So they take Grant hostage and they go outside. And so she's got the blob in the bag in a wheelbarrow, Grant ahead of her, gun pointed at him, and she wants to go to the cave that was so special to her and her husband. So she's like, tell them not to follow us, talking to like the reporters, the police, the helicopters, all of it. So he tells them, but of course they do follow, but like far enough behind to give them a bit of space. And they go into this cave, and she shoots that billionaire. And then the blob / Billy is like, you know what? this is getting a bit much. How about you come with me back to the sea? She's always been afraid of not the water so much. Like, she'll go into it up to her shoulders, but the idea of the ocean, being in the open water. And she's like, I'm a little scared. And he's like, well, don't you want to see what Billy saw and what Billy loved? And she's like, I do. And he's like, we can go and be together forever. She's like, let's do it. So then the ending, it's they take the form of Grant, her and this blob inside of Grant, and they go out. He's naked, kills his son, rips his throat out, tosses it. And then everyone's kind of going crazy, like, what is this billionaire doing? And then they wade into the water, and off they go. And then we get like a little chapter from her grandson, because at one point her grandson called when the police were surrounding them, and he's like, are you okay? And she's like, oh yeah, all good. And she gives them, like, you know, kind of some final words, because she knew she was not getting out of this day alive. And then we get a chapter from him, and then a chapter from in the sea, and, you know, she's happy to be with her Billy Blob. And I really, really enjoyed it. It sounds silly, like, telling you about it without you getting the feelings that you get from reading it. But, yeah, would recommend. If you're okay with body horror and some gruesome deaths and would like to read it, I would definitely say go for it. Go for it. And I'd heard so many people talking about this book, how much they loved it. And I'm glad I finally read it. I saved it for Halloween week because I figured that'd be perfect time for it. And it really was. So that's going to do it for me for today. I don't know if this is going to be the last sit down video before Halloween. It might be. It might not. There's going to be a vlog coming up on Friday. And then we're done with Bernard for the year. So I'm sure you'll see him again, at least in the vlog. But until then, I'll talk to you guys soon. Oh, if you made it this far, leave some sort of sea creature emoji in the comments. Bye, guys.